Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing great. Hey, Easter's coming up, and if you're a worship leader like me, you know this is one of the biggest times of year. We've got extra services, special songs, maybe even some dramatic elements. There's a lot going on. So today, I just want to take some time to chat about 5 things that I think we should keep in mind while we're getting ready for Easter services. So let's dive in, all right? Number 1, remember why we're celebrating. First off, we got to remember, guys, why we're doing all this in the first place. Easter is all about the resurrection of Jesus. That might sound so obvious, but it's easy. It's so easy to get like stuck in the details, right? Song choices, rehearsals, stage designs, volunteers for this and for that. Who's going to sing what, right? And we can forget the real heart of Easter. Jesus rose from the dead, and that changes everything. And you know that. So action step for you. Before you start planning anything, spend some personal time praying or reading through the resurrection story. So, for example, read through Luke 24 or John 20. Take your time, read it slow. Pastor tell me, read the Bible slow, because you know what? You miss things all the time. Let it soak in. You might have to read it, seriously, guys, 3 or 4 times, and that's okay. Read it 3 or 4 times. Let it sink in, because when it sinks in, your worship leading becomes, it starts to come from a place of genuine awe and not just out of mundane things, right? You're just doing it because you're doing it. So that'll help you really grasp the reason why as well. Number 2, plan the worship set. So next up, let's talk about your song sets or whatever creative elements that you're working on or working with, right? Easter naturally has a built-in story, from the sorrow of the crucifixion to the joy of resurrection, right? So think about choosing music that walks people through that emotional and spiritual journey. So one thing I've done for years is I make a potential list. And you can use any application, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, that you want to use this with. But I make a potentials list. That list is huge. I mean, I pull in songs, and I don't even think about it. I'm like, man, I like that. Oh, this would work well. I think this, stuff like that. And then before I actually put the finalized worship set on another listing, I spend some time listening, sometimes for hours, even days, just contemplating those songs I put in there. And I start eliminating. Like, it's funny how you start going through like, well, I really like that, but that's not going to work here. Or, man, my band can't play that. Or I don't have a singer that can even sing that. Or this, this is just not our style. I thought it was. So there's lots of things that go through your mind as you have time to contemplate them. So maybe there's just one, though, that just keeps ringing. Maybe there's 3 or 4 that you just, man, they just like, this is it, right? So then place those in the worship set. And now I have a saying, it's not in stone until it is. Just realize you might have gone through all this. You get all the songs chosen. You feel good that day about it. You've got your say, like, man, this is it. I'm going to put it in planning center, and I'm going to pump it out to everybody. And you sit on it, you wake up the next morning, and you're just not feeling 1 or 2 songs, right? It's like, man, I don't know. It's okay. Take a moment to reevaluate why you chose that song. Maybe it was just bad pizza the night before, but nevertheless, take some time. And then if it's still tasting bad, just move on. It's okay, right? It's not in stone until it's in stone. There's so many good songs out there right now that you can utilize. And you might even have some that you've been working on writing that you're like, I want to put that in there. It's great. So here's an action step for you. So whatever application you use to listen to music, make a potential list and a final list, right? From there, go through it a half dozen times, as much as you can, and imagine, once you get that final set, imagine what it will be like on Easter. Like, I kind of go through it, like I listen to songs, I kind of imagine, even think about what I might say, what it might feel like, what the congregation is going to do, how the band plays it. I think those things really kind of help us get in the moment of what could be, and also helps us for rehearsals as well. Number 3, teamwork makes the dream work. Look, Easter is usually it's all hands on deck, right? So you've got you got the kids ministry doing something special. You got the tech team setting up cool visuals and lights and everything else and getting sounds right. And maybe you have a drama team pulling together a skit. I don't know. Communication, though, is everything. So have a quick meeting, or at least a group text thread, that can save everyone a ton of stress. And this will help you keep the message consistent. All right. So here's your action step with this. Something I've done for years is plan a coffee meeting with all the key players, pastors if they're available, children's ministry leaders, guest services, your tech team, your creative team, whoever, communication director, if you have that. Maybe you just have a music director. Maybe you don't have any of that. Maybe you just have, volunteers. That's okay. But take some time and brainstorm how everything can work together smoothly. Set some deadlines for each team so nobody's scrambling last minute. And I would suggest actually 2 meetings. The first one really should be the creative time, like taking time to think about the day. What are some ideas they have? When they come in, we want to do this, right? What kind of music do we want playing? Stuff like that. Think about it, everything, throw it on the wall. If it sticks, great. If it doesn't, then it's okay. But nothing is a bad idea. Let it just flow, right? The second one that you have should be locking everything in. So that second meeting, you're sitting down, you're like, all right, this is what we're doing, and making sure everyone knows the deadlines and what the expectations are for that day. And always have a backup plan to what you're planning. There's always things that are going to be thrown at you. Now, in the in-between before that first meeting, the second, you're going to have texts. You're going to have things, oh, what about this? Change this, do this, right? So that's all natural. You're just going to do that in the in-between, all right? 4, encourage your congregation to engage. We all know it, and worship is not a concert. It's an invitation for people to join, right? So especially on Easter, there might be some folks attending who don't usually come to church. This is a golden opportunity, guys, to help them experience the presence of God. And guys, please remember, because there will probably be people that don't usually attend your church or have never attended your church. And I think so many times we assume that they know what's going on. You cannot assume they understand what's happening. So you have to drop some of the church lingo, and you might be careful on things, especially that you're presenting that day. If you have announcements or whatever, what's on the screens, those kind of things. Those are things that are important to think through. You don't want to give them so much that they don't know. Less is more, right? So again, drop the church lingo. If you don't already, do a welcome or like what I call a host time, this is a great time to tell them what's going on. So, for example, hey, guys, it's so good to see you this morning. Hey, if this is your first time here, we would love to get to meet you. We have a free gift for you, something like that. I don't know. And then say, hey, we're about to sing 3-4 songs, whatever it is for you. And after those 3 or 4 songs, we have a video that's going to play. And then our pastor, so-and-so, is going to walk up here, and he's got a message for you today. And so we're excited that you're here. Let's stand up and let's sing these songs together. Let's worship. The screen is over here. You got words on it, so you'll be able to see something like that. And just be real, and don't get up there and talk a bunch of stuff that doesn't make sense. And make sure you take time to plan that. Don't overcomplicate it. All right. So an action step: take some time to plan what your welcome host will say. Make sure you have done everything you and your team can do to make it a great experience for those that are new and those that usually attend. Now, that's going to be something that you're going to have to really maybe initiate, and that's okay. That's okay if you haven't done it. But if you have done it, you might want to sit again with that welcome host or whoever's doing it. Maybe it's a pastor, maybe it's a volunteer. All right. Number 5 and last, check your own heart and be ready to flex. Lastly, guys, with all the planning and rehearsing, don't neglect your own soul. Easter can be so stressful because we all want it to be amazing, right? But if we're spiritually drained, it's going to show. And make time for your own personal worship, reflection, and rest. And hey, remember to stay flexible. Stuff happens. You all know that. Mics fail, volunteers get sick, or the schedule changes last minute. Pastor throws something at you. You have somebody that's, running late. These things happen. So, but if your heart is centered on Jesus, you'll handle those curveballs with grace. Not saying it's easy, but it'll help you be centered. All right. So here's an action step. Very obvious. Block out a little quiet time each day if you're not doing that already. Prayer, journaling, whatever helps you reconnect with God. And I would also, in this action step, encourage you to encourage your team to do the same. Whoever is going to be involved in that Sunday morning, they should be a part of that email or text thread, so everyone's hearts stay in the right place. And let them know. Maybe you have a devotion that's every day for them that week of or something. So be creative and think through it. This is an opportunity for you guys as a unit, as a team, to work together and to really, really put Jesus on display. So that's it. 5 big things to keep in mind as Easter rolls around. Keep Jesus at the center. Plan worship sets that tell a story. Collaborate like crazy. Invite people to truly engage, and take care of your own heart in the process. Easter, guys, is such a powerful time to proclaim the good news of the resurrection. So let's do it with excellence and genuine passion, and let's put Jesus on display in everything that we do, especially on Easter Sunday. Hey guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. This is my first one, so I hope you found it helpful. If you did, I'm going to do some more. There's going to be some more things coming out, some things that you can download, and some more thoughts about worship essentials that I think everybody should have. But feel free to like, to share, subscribe. Obviously, that helps me, helps us get out, and maybe drop your own Easter planning tips in the comments. Listen, I don't know everything, and nobody does. You might have ideas that no one's heard of. Share those, and let's just keep each other inspired and lift up Jesus this Easter. God bless you guys, and see you next time.